Robert Kiyosaki is, of course, the author of the smash hit Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he sat down with me not too long ago to share his thoughts on entrepreneurship in the 21st century. The thing that Robert Kiyosaki said that most stuck with me when we were sitting together at Nomad Capitalist Live, my annual live conference, was 3 days. What's your plan to be able to get somewhere else in 3 days? What is your backup plan? And that's great advice. It's what we talk about here at Nomad Capitalist. But he also shared tips about entrepreneurship, not only in his native United States, but overseas. He talked about why he would do fewer deals in the United States, his thoughts on Puerto Rico, and why entrepreneurs don't need to go to college. I'm going to share those thoughts directly from Robert Kiyosaki's mouth here with you right now. If it's your first time watching, my name's Andrew Henderson. I'm the founder of Nomad Capitalist. We're a boutique consulting firm that helps 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and investors legally reduce their taxes by going overseas, protect their assets overseas, have a dual citizenship to make sure they remain free and in control of their lives. We also host the biggest and best offshore conference called Nomad Capitalist Live, where Robert Kiyosaki spoke last year. Here are some of my favorite moments from my interview with Robert. What's happening with public schools and just schools in general? You saw the school in New York recently where, I don't recall exactly what it was about, but a father was, I've had enough of what's going on in my private schools. So it's not just the public schools. Is that intentional? Is there some kind of greater plan in your mind that this is what we're going to do to create a population that matches their cultural goals? It's intentional.
If you look at where the money is going for this COVID-19, the money is going to teachers' unions. And look at the teachers' unions. They can shut the school system down. They don't have to teach. They're on vacation in Puerto Rico. They're collecting extra money and all this. But the teachers' unions, that was my poor dad. My poor dad was head of the HSTA, Hawaii State Teachers Association. So when I was about 15 or 16, he'd have all these henchmen around him.
Henchmen?
Well, the union guys. They're not concerned about your education.
Are they concerned about the rank and file?
It's how much money can they get.
Yeah.
So my poor dad, being the head of the HSTA, Hawaii State Teachers Association, my rich dad was a man who never went to school. He's a hardcore capitalist. And when his hotel and restaurant system came under a strike vote to unionize, I was 16 years old. I had to go down to the hotel to man the front desk because all of his workers went on strike to unionize. So it was like 3 or 4 days. I'm working in this hotel, sleeping in the back, trying to check in tourists and all this stuff. And I got home and my poor dad called me a scab. You broke the union lines. And I said, I'm a capitalist. I didn't know I was a capitalist, but I said, how can they shut down a guy's business, screw all these tourists? I just didn't make sense to me. And it's never made sense to me. Why would you want to destroy the engine of the economy? So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, really, 1997, I hate to say this today, is a book about capitalists versus socialists or Marxists. I'm not saying they're bad people. My poor dad was a very, very good, honest man, but he wasn't a capitalist. He never understood how a guy with no education could become a multimillionaire.
What is the right level of education?
It depends on what you want to become. If you want to become a doctor, medical doctor, go to school. You want to be an entrepreneur, most guys don't finish school.
Do you finish high school if you're in the U.S.?
Who?
Would you recommend finishing high school?
I don't do that stuff. You know what I mean? It's up to the individual. If you want to be a doctor, you'd better go to med school.
Sure.
You want to be a lawyer, you better go to law school.
One of the things we're going to talk about here this weekend is the different options for schooling your kids around the world. And we've seen that for years. I mean, our very first conference, we had a guy come up, 15-year-old kid. He said, I dropped out of school. I'm learning everything on my own.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come and learn at your conference. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over there and learn from people.
And that's why I want to commend you, because the people I'm meeting here are all rebels in some ways. They just refuse to go under the thumb. You know what I mean? And they're smart people, articulate, highly educated. We want our freedom back. That's all we want. You can be a communist if you want. You know, some of the happiest days of my family's life is when President John Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. So my mom and dad joined the Peace Corps. And it was one of the hardest financial times in our lives because there was no money. So my mom and dad are training Peace Corps trainees to go to Southeast Asia, Sabah, Sarawak, Indonesia, the Philippines. And then when I became of age, they said, "You're going to join the Peace Corps?" I said, "No, I'm going to join the Marine Corps." And my dad, poor dad, is such a good man. He says, "That's your choice." And that's what I say to young people is, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, you want to be a rich man. Don't go to school because you're not going to learn anything about money anyway.
Go to Cambodia and try and find a business to start.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
What does that mean 30 years from now?
Good question.
You'll have to see. You've done deals all over the world, as I know, though. What has been the footprint? What has taken you all these places? Because we both know Malaysia very well.
I talk to entrepreneurs like you. The greatest joy of my life today is when 20-something, a lot of them here at Nomad Capitalist, they came out, "My dad gave me your book." You see, that makes me happy. What doesn't make me happy is when the New York Times comes after me and when the Washington Post called me a racist. I said, "You see this face here? He's white, I'm not." You know what I mean? I said, "How could I be a racist?" "Oh, you're a racist." I'm going, why? So racist is their way of putting you down right away. And then I did this talk in Bozeman, Montana, which is not the most liberal state in the world. And the paper put me up there as a white supremacist. I said, I'm still not white. But they're so into labeling people to cut them down, if you know what I mean. So during my time, it was McCarthy area.
Don't you think it's different? I mean, like when I go to a place like Malaysia, I mean, you go to China. I remember many years ago, I was with someone, and they made a comment, and someone said, "Oh, that's racist." The person said, "So?"
So.
I'm not saying that's the solution, but certainly if you go to Malaysia, if you go to a place like that, have you found it easier to do deals in those places? Do you find it preferable these days to do deals in those places because you can just do business?
It depends upon the government. And that's my concern is in America, and the reason Nomad Capitalist provides the alternative point of view is, as you know, people are running today. Just as they run from California and New York, the so-called blue states, they're running to, red states like Arizona and Texas and Florida.
Is Arizona still a red state?
Very much so.
You think so?
No.
Democratic senators?
I understand that. But as a capitalist, I see who's moving in.
Is there still hope? Because obviously what we talk about is, if you can move from California to Arizona, what are the issues? What are we talking about here? I got to move my kids from school. I got to put all the pottery in a box. You're going through all these hassles. You might as well go to Puerto Rico. You might as well come to Mexico. You might as well just give it all the gas you can.
I agree 100% with you.
Yeah.
But as a capitalist, I don't operate by the same rules as employees do. I'm an entrepreneur. The rules are different for entrepreneurs. That's why I wrote the second book. It was called The Cash Flow Quadrant. Employee, where E, S stands for small business or self-employed. B stands for big business or brand. And I stands for inside investor. So the outside investors are in stocks, the E's and S's are in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. And a guy like me, I'm an entrepreneur. I put my own deals together.
Right.
I don't like Wall Street. If you like Wall Street, fine. I don't like them because I've taken 3 companies public in my lifetime. It's a mess. It's so rigged against the poor and middle class.
I always thought from 10 years old, I said, why, wanted to be in business. Why would you want to run a public company? It seems like you're a slave to whomever, no?
See, your problem is you're an entrepreneur. You see, if you can put your own, I can create my own assets. That's what I stands, insider, not investor, insider. So like today, I'm putting a Green New Deal project together. Do I like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? No. Am I an environmentalist? Yes. Can I package my own deals? Yes.
That is one thing, by the way, I think people look at this. You can be an environmentalist and be a capitalist, can you not?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got it. But if you went to school, you got a job, you're a doctor or a lawyer or a school teacher, You don't have the skill set or the mindset or the emotional intelligence to do that.
But some people on the capitalist side, I mean, especially in the U.S., I think they trash that.
What's that?
They trash the environmentalism side. Oh, that's not what a capitalist would do.
Well, they're stupid. Look, I want to say, because the reason I'm honored you invited me. I have never had so much fun in a half a day than for a long time, because I'm free to talk.
Yeah.
But my friend Jim Records, he and I are writing the next book together.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had him before.
Yeah, he's a fantastic guy.
Nice guy.
But what he talks about, you guys should listen to this. If they spike interest rates, which they might, because interest rates controls the economy. If you have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETF, you're toast.
So what are the deals? Are there still good deals in the U.S.? I avoid of course there are, but I try and avoid the U.S.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. But as a nomad capitalist, I'm not taking your term.
Sure.
I don't give a shit. I can go to any country in the world and do a deal.
Yeah.
But I do it as a capitalist, not a school teacher, or a doctor, or a lawyer.
Will you do fewer deals in the U.S. as you see the things that you're mentioning? Seems like it's of concern in the U.S. Will you be doing fewer deals as a result? Or are you just going to say, hey, I'll just go, Green New Deal, that's coming along, all right, I'll go with that. That's what you do.
I don't really care.
My premise would be, I want to go where there's some kind of respect. I don't want to be the guy who invests in the Green New Deal and then you're just a hanger-on, we don't want you, or let's put some new tax. To me, the culture in the U.S. is so toxic in terms of economically. I wouldn't trust them with my money, would you?
No. Yeah. I agree. I mean, you and I are joined at the hip. The difference is we're entrepreneurs. And when you're an entrepreneur, you're a capitalist. You are a nomad capitalist, and you can go anywhere in the world. A school teacher can only go where they're licensed. A real estate agent can only go where they're licensed. I can do a deal anywhere because I don't have a license.
What are some of the deals you've done outside of the U.S.? Can you talk about a deal that stands out that you?
Well, I'm just looking into the future. So
Sure.
that's why Records and I are writing our book together.
Right.
So the book is called The Ravens, and the Ravens was the god of prophecy. So in mythology, his hero was Felix Summary. Was called the Raven of Zurich. He could see the future. So he saw Hitler, he saw this, and he got people out of the country, which you're supposed to do. So my teacher was a man named Buckminster Fuller, hardcore socialist, but he taught me how to see the future.
What is the future?
The future is what you're fighting against. They're taking away our freedoms.